Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there lived a beautiful princess named Snow White. Her skin was as white as snow, her lips as red as roses, and her hair as black as ebony. Snow White's mother had passed away when she was just a baby, and her father, the king, had remarried a woman who was as beautiful as she was vain. This new queen, Snow White's stepmother, possessed a magic mirror that she would consult every day. She would ask the mirror, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" And every day, the mirror would reply, "You, my queen, are the fairest of them all." This answer pleased the queen greatly, for she could not bear the thought of anyone being more beautiful than her. But as Snow White grew older, her beauty blossomed, and one day, when the queen asked her mirror the usual question, the mirror replied, "You, my queen, are fair, it is true, but Snow White is fairer than you." The queen's heart filled with jealousy and rage. She could not stand the thought of being outshined by her stepdaughter. Determined to rid herself of Snow White, the queen called for the royal huntsman and ordered him to take Snow White deep into the forest and kill her. As proof of the deed, she demanded that he bring back Snow White's heart. The huntsman, though loyal to the queen, could not bring himself to harm the innocent princess. When they reached the depths of the forest, he fell to his knees and confessed the queen's wicked plan to Snow White. "Run away, dear princess," he begged. "Run far and never return to the castle." Snow White, terrified and heartbroken, fled into the forest. She ran until she could run no more, finally collapsing in a small clearing. As night fell, the forest seemed dark and menacing, with strange noises and shadows all around her. But as dawn approached, the forest became more welcoming, with birds singing and sunlight filtering through the trees. Snow White wandered through the forest until she came upon a tiny cottage hidden among the trees. Curious and tired, she knocked on the door, but no one answered. She gently pushed the door open and stepped inside. The cottage was small and cozy, with 7 tiny chairs and 7 tiny beds. Everything was covered in dust, and the place seemed abandoned. "Oh, what a charming little house!" Snow White exclaimed. "But it is so dusty. I must clean it up for whoever lives here." Snow White set to work, tidying up the cottage, sweeping the floors, and washing the dishes. When she finished, she was so exhausted that she lay down on one of the tiny beds and fell fast asleep. As the sun began to set, the true inhabitants of the cottage returned home. They were 7 dwarfs who worked in the nearby diamond mines. Their names were Doc, Grumpy, Happy, Sleepy, Bashful, Sneezy, and Dopey. They were surprised to find their home spotless and even more surprised to find Snow White asleep in one of their beds. "Who is this young girl?" they wondered. "And what is she doing in our house?" Snow White awoke to find the 7 dwarfs gathered around her. Though they were initially cautious, her kind smile and gentle nature quickly won them over. She told them her sad story and asked if she could stay with them. The dwarfs, moved by her tale and her sweetness, agreed to let Snow White stay. They warned her about the dangers of the forest, especially her wicked stepmother, and told her to never open the door to strangers. Meanwhile, back at the castle, the evil queen asked her magic mirror once again, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?"